Hello everyone and welcome to Mind Your Venture. I'm going to start off like normal this week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at my weekly purchase. So I have here a 2007 ASE and I picked this one up for $1.50 over spot, along with this 2014 Maple Leaf. Now, I was very interested in picking up some 90% silver at this location. However, as I always talk about, it's very important for you out there and for me as well. It's important enough to me that I don't want to pay too much for the materials that I buy, the silver that I buy. So the 90% constitutional silver they had at this location, they were selling it at 30 times face. And that was quite a bit for me. It was very expensive. I did not want to make that purchase because of the amount of money over spot that would come in at. That's basically $5 or right around $5 over spot pricing for that silver. I basically did not want to make that purchase because of that reason. And I did ask some questions because I don't understand how they could sell it for so much. And the explanation really did not settle with me. Now, like I said, I'm traveling. So these are not coin stores that I typically go to. When I'm out traveling, I do like to stop at different locations and take a look and see what they got. And I was very happy to see that they were selling some, some of these silver eagles. It does have some damage on it there. And I got it for $1.50 over spot. So I was happy to get, and like I said, I don't mind buying silver. I know I can get a full ounce of silver like here and get this for a decent price, $1.50 over spot. So it's what I like doing, and it's what I encourage people to do, is pay attention to spot price, know where it is, and don't allow yourselves to be taken advantage of from a place. Now, I don't know necessarily that this place was trying to take advantage of me with their 90% constitutional silver they had. They had a bunch of half dollars, dimes, and quarters, but they were selling them at 30 times face. And I asked why they were trying to sell it for so high, and the explanation really did not fit. They said, that's the way the market is here, and most of the time we have to take this to another state and sell it off for melt. So that really didn't make any sense to me either, because if they wanted to sell it for melt, I was willing to pay them somewhere around 26 times face for that, which was still a little bit high, but they wouldn't even come down to that. They said at times they can get, silver dollars in and sell them at that price. But when you're selling coins that are minted and you're selling these things, selling these coins at $1.50 over spot, and you're selling your junk silver, is what they called it, junk silver, constitutional 90%, they were selling for nearly $39 is what it came out to. So it seemed a little odd to me that they would be selling it at such a high price. And when they talked about they had to take it to another state to sell it most of the time to get it for melt, it made no sense to me at all. And she was really trying to explain it to me and said it a few times. And I said, well, it really doesn't make any sense, but if that's what you're gonna do, I'm just not gonna buy any of it, which is fine by them too. They were fine not selling it to me, but so I ended up buying just these two coins here. But this is why I put these videos out and why I talk to you guys out there about knowing what the deal is and knowing what the silver goes for. Now, I'm not sure. She had mentioned that the person that owned the place before had more leeway, and they were the actual owner of the place. And they would sell silver at prices and you can negotiate with them and all that. And I don't really know if she really had a grasp on how it works. She said she travels a lot and goes around and picks up silver and brings it back, and gold and things like that. But it was just odd the way she was trying to explain it to me. And I know there's different markets out there and you buy and sell for what you can. Now, I don't know if they're just paying way too much for this stuff when it comes in. And it was junk silver. It was not in great condition to where they'd be selling it for numismatic value. This was straight up junk, worn down, heavily circulated, 90% constitutional silver that they were trying to sell at 30 times face. It was really high for me. I did not buy any, even though I wanted to. They had a lot of it there, but the explanation just didn't make any sense to me. Maybe somebody out there, maybe one of you guys listening, can maybe explain to me and shine some light to me on why they would be doing that. Maybe a coin shop out there might be able to explain, but I've been to a lot of coin shops in my time and they were selling it higher than some pawn shops that I've been to. And pawn shops usually are the places that charge a whole lot more for their constitutional than most any other place. And it was just rather odd to me. And the explanation about needing to go to another state and sell it for melt value, and that's why they have to sell it at such a high premium, it really didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But maybe I'm missing something here, and it's the first time I've heard anybody say anything like that. And I tried to pry a little bit because I really did want to buy some 90% constitutional silver at this location because they did have a lot of it and they had a bunch of different dates. But I just was not going to pay that much when I can get, a silver eagle for, there I go again. One of these days, guys, I'm really going to do better at showing the coins and putting them face up when I put them up to the thing. Just got to pay attention a little bit more, but it's just one of those things that I just don't understand fully, how they can sell coins that are minted. They were even selling these at the same price as the Eagles, and I don't understand why they would be selling the coins, the Maple Leafs, and the Eagles at $1.50 over spot and charging 30 times face for their constitutional silver, especially when it's heavily circulated. So if there's anybody out there that can explain that to me, maybe there's a coin shop out there that gets into this situation as well because of the area they're in. And she really tried to make it sound like it was the cheapest place anywhere in that area, that I was going to find 90% silver at such a great price. And I mean, I've traveled a lot and I've stopped at a lot of places, and that's not a great price. And I've had other people tell me that in other states too, and then I drive right down the road and get my constitutional silver just over spot and sometimes even at spot pricing. So I struggled to try to believe, and to be honest with you, because of that situation, I did not trust the silver that I was buying, so I ran tests on it immediately when I got out of the store. Now, it is real, but that's the kind of thing that really raises a red flag for me, and it put me, I was uneasy after I made the purchase because of the explanation. The explanation made no sense that they were going to travel, take all of this junk silver to another state and sell it off for melt value, and that's the only way they can get rid of it when they were not wanting to sell it for 26 times face. Now, 26 times face would have been somewhere around $1 over spot, right? And I was willing to do that, but 30 times face, it was nearly $5 over spot price for the silver content in there. And like I said, I was just confused, and all it did for me was really make me worry about the purchase that I made. And I tested these immediately when I got out with my ping tester, which it's an app on my phone and I take it with me everywhere, and it allows me to at least test stuff when I'm out and about, especially when I travel, to be safe with my purchase. And I was happy to see that it was real, but I didn't like feeling uneasy after I made a purchase. And I do this quite often. I travel. You guys know that I make purchases every single week, and I show you guys what they are. And I thought I'd share this situation with you guys out there, just to share with you how important it is to know what you're buying and be willing to refuse to buy something if it doesn't make any sense to you at the time, and how certain conversations can be a little bit confusing, and sometimes you'll never understand why certain people do certain things. But like I said, I'd be very interested to hear from some of you guys that do the same thing. You're out there buying your stackers, you buy silver all the time. And I know there's a lot of you that watch my channel that really enjoy that 90% constitutional, as I do as well. And it really wanted to make a purchase on this trip, finding some while I was traveling. Unfortunately, this was the only store that was open at the time, and I ended up just being able to get a couple of coins here. So anyway, as always, keep on stacking, onward and upward.
There once was a man that stacked silver, so he called himself an investor. But the silver he had was not enough, so he stacked it more and more. Soon then the increase comes, shiny, glittery, and in large sums. Now when the stacking's done, he loved it more and more.